Hey, folks, you're going to love today's word on the street. One of my favorite guys in the world, man. He's hilarious. His brilliant material. Thousands of couples have gone to his couples comedy events, and he's also a great pastor as well. Not enough I can say about this guy. His name is Mark Gungor. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing good up here in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
All right, man.
We just got back from Arizona where we spent a bunch of time. I noticed behind me there's a sign that still says "Baby is cold outside." So, apparently, we need to update our direct decorations.
People don't know what cold is until they go to Wisconsin, man.
Oh man! Actually, you know what's worse is like North Dakota and stuff.
Really?
Oh man, it's brutal. I don't know how those people do it.
Oh man! Well, I tell you what,
I wins like you can't believe.
Well, Mark, people I'm sure are recognizing you a lot. Will from all the television shows that you've done and you've been on. Of course, Laugh Your Way to a Better Marriage. What a hit! DVD series and events. I tell you, the thing about the internet is the first time they see it, it's new to them. But you've been doing this for a long time now. But for those who are seeing you for the very, very first time, of all the things you do and all the things you are, what are you focusing on these days more than anything?
Being a pastor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love doing it. I love, but I still do this as well. You know, travel all over the world, doing these couples events and stuff. And people say, "How do you do both?" I don't know. I just do.
Well, it's called leadership, man. You know.
Or laziness, one of the two. I got enough people. I just tell them to do it, and I don't do it.
Well,
you
folks,
do this, you do that. Call me. I'll be in Arizona.
There you go. You go. Well, it's called delegation. You know.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's what it's called.
Well, you know, Mark, you have found a way to navigate the ministry waters. Number one, you've lasted longer than most. I got to encounter your church many years ago in Wisconsin. You were actually out of town when I did, but the people, even in your absence, they loved you, and you could just tell, man, that they were a church alive. They were good people. They were very warm and engaging. They adored their pastor, and you were expanding at that time. And but man, you've always been able to pastor your churches. And to also be on television and impact the lives of so many people. Your bio is very humble, man. I mean, there's so much more that people that I have met that have your capacity for speaking and writing and presenting and leading would say. But I mean, what you did put on there, you know, you have been on broadcasts and publications, you know, like Focus on the Family and Life Today and ABC News and the Washington Times and Newsweek. Now, I would love to have you on GLC because so many people now more than ever, they need hope and they need to come together and they need to stick together, especially as couples in this hour. But with all the craziness happening in the world, Mark, what would you say to couples right now that are probably sensing the need to get a little closer these days?
First of all, the reason my bio is simple is you hit a point in your life where you're not even impressed with yourself. Yeah, I did this and I did that. That's it. That's a wrap. Move it along. Keep going. What do couples need? Couples, you know, man, I don't know. People are so jacked up today. Yeah. There's different versions of people who help marriages. There's people who go, you know, if you're going through an adulterous affair, or you got this horrible thing, or this horrible thing. And I don't really focus on any of that. You know, I focus on just normal people. And that's why my book is called Laugh Your Way to a Better Marriage, not how to laugh your way out of a horrible marriage. What to do if you've got 37 girlfriends on the side. You know, what happens if your wife decides she's a man? I mean, I don't get into all that.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, man, I just, you know, people are crazy. So I just tell the normal guy how to get along with your wife and not kill each other. That's all I'm trying to do. And what I try to do, I just try to get people to understand why they do what they do. If you can understand why a person does what they do, it changes everything, even though it doesn't change anything.
Wow.
But if you don't know why, it'll make you crazy. Like one of the things that I talk about the most that I'm known for is this idea of the nothing box. that men compartmentalize and they got boxes in their brains. Our favorite box is our nothing box because there's nothing in it. Because men literally love to sit and think about nothing. It's how we relax.
I know.
How a man deals with stress. Quit thinking about it.
Yeah. We defrag.
Yes. But a woman, the only way she can deal with it is she has to talk about it. La, 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 la. So you got one person who wants to talk about it, the other one doesn't want to think about it. And you get the clash when you start to understand why they do what they're doing. When a man's being quiet, women, it's not because he hates you or he's hiding anything from him. There's literally nothing in his head.
No, they don't understand that. What are you thinking? Nothing.
I showed them the studies. There's actually studies. University of Pennsylvania did a study on men's brains, women's brains. They would put them in chairs and with nothing to do, monitor their brain activity. These women and then they brought in the men, wanted them monitor their brain, and it went. They were the ones that said, in point of fact, men have the ability to think about absolutely nothing. And still breathe. They said when a man is relaxing, up to 75% of his brain activity completely shuts down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when a guy says he's chilling out, we're chilling out. If a woman says she's chilling out, she's just cold.
Well, yeah. I've heard other comedians, but they didn't put it as good as you did, but the husband's sitting there and, you're watching TV and what are you thinking?
It's amazing. I know, but you have no idea how many women told me it saved their marriage. I said, seriously?
Yeah.
That saved your marriage? Yes, because I'd always say, what are you thinking? And he said, nothing. And she was convinced that he was holding out on her or didn't love her. And he's like, serious. I had a lady come. I was actually in Texas, down where you're at. This lady comes up to me. She says, and really straightforward. I don't even think she was a Christian. Didn't claim to be.
Right.
Said, you don't know me from Adam. She was in the real estate business. She said, but your video saved my marriage. I said, how's that? Uh-huh. She says, well, we had gotten a divorce. And then I saw your DVD and I invited my ex-husband now to come over and watch, which is really weird.
Whoa.
If you can sit there and watch TV with your ex. Why are you even divorced? I don't even know why they got divorced.
Hey, you never know.
By the way, we sat down and she said, when I saw that nothing box, I realized, oh, that's all he's doing. And then we got remarried again. And we've been happy ever since. What does that tell you? People are getting divorced for some of the dumbest reasons on earth.
Yeah.
Now, again, those of you in crisis, no, my husband beats me. I'm not talking about you. My husband cheats on me. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking normal, everyday, regular people who are just frustrated with life. And I try to show them how to succeed. If you're in deep, deep trouble, call Focus on the Family. I'm not
Well, Mark, you've made some history there because when I first saw you online, I think it was YouTube, and Laugh Your Way to a Better Marriage. And it was just profound. It was very funny, but it was very profound and helpful. And, issues were, I would say, maybe a little different back then than they are now. I mean, some things never changed. But man, what do you do with some of this stuff now with gender fluidity or gender confusion? I mean, my gosh, what would you say, to someone who was married to someone who decided that they wanted to swing the other way? No pun intended. They wanted to change their sexual preference, man. What do you do with something like that?
Well, first of all, don't overreact to stuff. People doing all kinds of crazy stuff today. I had this guy who wrote on my sister, now claims she's a man, and just in crisis. Look, your sister could be dating some guy and fornicating and her little brains out.
Wow.
You wouldn't think anything of it, right? You could be married to a sister. She could be stealing from stuff at Walmart. She could be, not paying her tax. People do all kinds of stuff that's wrong. The fact that this is what she's doing wrong, don't freak out about it. People do wrong stuff all the time. In fact, I bet you there's way more fornicators listening to me right now than guys who've changed their sex. And they're both wrong. Okay? So people are jacked up. And let's just help people heal and get a relationship with God so they can start getting a sense of who they are. But I think we overact too much about stuff.
Wow.
You know, I don't know why we do that. I think it's look, when I was growing up in the 1800s, there was nobody man saying, I'm a woman, you know. And here's the other thing. It's worse than that. They got these kids who claim to be cats.
Oh man.
Have you seen this?
I've seen some of that. Yeah.
No, I mean, literally, we were talking somewhere not too far from Wisconsin here. In Wisconsin, they're having a big debate on whether or not they legally should provide a litter box for this girl who claimed to be a cat.
You got to be kidding.
No. And of course, everybody's freaking out about it. It's hard not to laugh about it, but goodness gracious. The girl needs help.
There's a fad with cat ears, you know, girls wearing cat ears for the longest time. But man, really thinking you're a cat?
No, they purr and stuff, and they want the teachers to purr back to them and provide a litter box and stuff. I mean, at what point do we not go, look, some people need help, you know?
Yeah.
But here's the deal on all of this. Do you know why so many people support these things? It's not because they believe in it. It's their version of self-righteousness. You know, people often accuse Christians of being self-righteous. You know, they're so holy stuff. It's not the problem with Christians being self-righteous. It's non-Christians being self-righteous. Because what they do is they don't believe in God. They'll abort their own children. They'll lie, steal, but as long as I recycle, I'm okay. Seriously,
you're right, man, you're right.
It's their version of penance. I do this because they're good. They're good. And then we're evil because we don't accept these people. See, we challenge and say, wait a minute, this little girl probably needs some mental help. You know, how dare you say that kind of stuff. So they accept it, not because they want to. Hardly anybody does this behavior, by the way. Hardly anybody does this behavior. It's just that everybody feels good because they accept people. I am a good human being. I lie, I steal, I cheat, I fornicate, I look at porn, I do all kinds of stuff, but I'm a good person because I accept people who do this.
I accept people or I recycle.
It's all of a version of self-righteousness. So we live in a culture today that people are making themselves good by accepting bad behavior and thinking they'll become righteous themselves.
Calling good evil and evil good.
Yeah, exactly right. So anyway, because we say we disapprove of it, we're the hateful people. But they're the righteous because they accept all this stuff. That's what makes them righteous. So
but it's okay to hate patriots, or it's okay to hate conservatives, or it's okay to hate, you know, white people. It's okay to hate, but it's not okay to hate, right? It's very selective. And
the most hateful people on earth too.
Yeah.
They are brutal, mean and nasty, but it's fair game. Especially if you're a conservative Christian, you're fair game for people to cut your head off and stuff. I just think the people just need to be careful. Don't overreact to stuff like this. Sin is sin. And because someone is doing one thing, for example, the whole homosexual thing. Well, God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah because they were gay. That's not why God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm going to give you a Bible quiz. I'm putting you on the hot seat right now.
Okay.
Brad, why did God destroy Sodom and Gomorrah?
Well, I would used to say because the men of the town were wanting to get with the angels.
Okay, that's part of it.
But what would I say now? Because they were wicked. They were evil in every conceivable way, and they refused to change.
But it was all of them. It was all of them. Remember, Abraham talks to God. Would you destroy it if there were 100 righteous? God says, no.
He said, how about if there's one?
Yeah, but he goes down and says, what if there's 75? No, I wouldn't do it. Okay, listen, I understand. Let me run this by you. What if it's just 50? He says, I won't do it for 50. Okay, I get that, but what if it's only 25? He goes all the way down. I think he gets like to 20 or 10 or something like that. And as it turns out, God wouldn't do it until he got at least one righteous family out. Lot and his wife, right? Got them out of there. And then God destroyed it, not because of one particular type of sin, but they were there wasn't one righteous person.
Right.
Look, even in the worst of cities, which almost always run by Democrats, but even the worst of cities, there's not 100% evil people there.
No, of course not.
San Francisco, what a weird place. There's still righteous people there. There's people of God there. There's believers that are there.
Right.
Can you imagine a city where there's not one righteous individual?
It's got to be pretty wicked, man. It's got to be pretty bad.
And violent and disgusting, sexual perversion. Like, I get the sexual perversion and stuff like that. But then to say, well, God destroyed them because I even heard one pastor say, if God doesn't destroy San Francisco, he's going to have to apologize to Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah.
No, because it's not the same. Because there are righteous people in San Francisco. There are believers in San Francisco. So, people, we need to relax a little bit. But I think people like to condemn these because it takes the heat off of them.
Right. So, yeah. Because I tell you what, Mark, I hate to say it, but there were so many times in ministry, in the vocational ministry, I saw more love and integrity among Satan's children than I saw among the gossip and slander and every evil thing. I mean, it's like it was selective rage. Homosexuality is bad. Well, what about lying about what about the secret meetings? What about the character assassination? Every time the pastor goes out of town, you guys want to fire him. Well, that's different. No, it's not different. Anything that grieves the Holy Spirit, and malice and anger and hate and all those things, it's sin, man. You're right. Sin.
And they're all listed together.
Yeah.
When he talks about these sins and sexual sin as part of it, it's also listed with greed and malice and all this icky stuff. But we're very so when we talk about the homosexual, damn homosexuals are terrible. They're just terrible. Let's be wait a minute. You're a lying piece of for heaven's sake. How about you stop doing that?
Yeah.
How about you at night looking at porn? How about we talk about that? Well, we don't talk about that.
Well.
I think it's way too close to home. So anyway, I just think, in all honesty, I think Christians need to quit overreacting to it. Some of the stuff is just on its face value is absurd, and people point out, it's crazy what people are claiming and this, that, and the other.
Disney is a big thing now, and it's not, it's very interesting. TikTok has shown me how funny people are and how silly people can be. But even on TikTok, there are people of the homosexual lifestyle saying, hey, they're not representing us. We want a quiet life. We don't think children should be learning anything about sex. We don't agree with that either. It was just interesting to see that there's actually nobody seems to think in their right mind anyway that a child, who wants to be a unicorn one day and an astronaut the next, should immediately be cut up their body parts or their, this administration wants to support a gender reassignment to children. And it's evil, man. It's evil. So you're right.
Can you imagine being a little kid in kindergarten and your parents saying to you, do you want to be a boy or do you want to be a girl? How much would that mess with your head? And if your best friends are girls, to say, I think I want to be girls. I like the girls,
Right.
And a lot of it just boils from this obsession with feelings that people have. Feelings. The most important thing is what you feel. Absurd. It doesn't matter what you feel.
Right.
If you feel like you're a cat, you're a cat. If you feel like you're a boy, you're a boy. If you feel like you're a girl, really? People are obsessed with their feelings.
Well, and the question is, what level do we have to participate to? I'm a unicorn, so I demand that you treat me like a unicorn. No, you're not a unicorn, and I'm not going to treat you like a unicorn. It's absurdity. It's insane. And at some point,
these poor kids, they're in kindergarten, first grade, talking about sex. I didn't know anything about sex till I was like 12 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Well, that's Can you imagine hear about this stuff? These guys are doing this stuff. I was still playing with BB guns, for heaven's sakes, and putting this in their heads at first grade, second grade, third grade. Disney's lost its ever mind. I hope everybody boycotts them.
Well, they've lost billions of dollars since that video came out about these higher ups.
You know that for sure?
Oh yeah, yes, they have lost billions.
Oh, I hope they keep
in value, and they will. You think they would learn? It's bad enough when when you come against the Second Amendment, you lose. But Facebook lost about 4 billion. That's just an old figure. Of course, Disney, the last figure I heard, I want to verify, but we'll just say it's in the billions. But the go woke, go broke, you think they would learn unless they're getting money somewhere else.
I don't know how to pull it off. It's just
all that to say is, but you know what? Keeping your head and leading a flock or multiple sites of a flock like you do, man, I bet you get all kinds of questions. The Mark Gungor show was fantastic. When you would be pitched questions from people who would call in or write in. And I'm telling you what, Mark, we need you. The body needs you. America needs you. I just did
there's need and then there's want.
Well, you know what? I think there's a way.
I need a colonoscopy, but I don't want a colonoscopy.
Well, I think there's a way to make it increasingly worth your while. Man, if I lived in your area, I'd be going to your church. Now, please tell me you're recording your church services.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And you're recording your messages.
Yeah, they're all there.
Okay. We got to talk. At the very least, we want to air your messages, but also, your shows and just yes, you're very funny, but you know what? You really have always spoke very sensibly to me when I've watched you. People forget that the Jesus we serve. I mean, it's always interesting, well, yeah, he ate with the sinners and he was accepted by the outcast. Yet when it comes to us being willing to do that, oh, well, no, we tend to look more like the Pharisees than we do like the very people that operated the way that Jesus operates and did operate,
Without a doubt.
But all that to say is you have a way of just, number one, you've stood the test of time in ministry. You innovated Christian comedy in your genre with couples as well, especially. Man, I tell you, I really think a lot of you. I know a lot of people out there do, but the world needs this, and the people need to laugh too. Your original, one of your many wins, laugh your way to a better marriage. You know what? When you're laughing with someone, it's harder to be angry at them, or when you're praying for them, it's harder. But laughter. There's laughter in my home. There's laughter in my marriage. All the time. Laughter is healing to the bones. People need to laugh more. How would you encourage people to laugh a little now and lighten up a little bit? What would you say?
Well, I don't know. I mean, lighten up. Just lighten up. What that's a problem. I mean, seriously, you got to work at being as miserable as these people. Seriously, you know how much energy it takes to just be miserable and mad all the time? I'm way too lazy to be mad. Oh my goodness gracious. Who has the time for that? And they're just mad all the time. Everyone's mad. But sometimes sometimes the church creates this. Mm-hmm. Like in marriages, a lot of stuff we teach just makes it worse. I'm telling you.
Really?
We over spiritualize things. We tell, I saw someone on Christian radio. We all know who they are. I won't say their name. But anyway, they're, couples need to experience spiritual intimacy. I go, what? What is that? I've been serving God for going on 70 years. I have no idea what they're talking about.
Praying together, Bible studies every morning and every night, of course,
Apparently,
right?
Emotional and sexual intimacy is so easy. We need to take it up to a new level of spiritual intimacy. Oh my word.
Well, it sells more books. Everyone's got to come up with their newest anointing or their newest this or this. Instead, you're right, man. We made it too hard. We made Christianity too hard. I mean, Jesus said you have to be like a child to come into the kingdom, and we've made it so hard. And the gospel is not hard, and loving one another is not hard, is it?
Well, sometimes it depends on who you're dealing with. So I got this lady. She's mad. Why? because my husband, he doesn't read my body language.
Oh, okay.
I said, what? Most men won't even read a book. Body language? Who told you you're supposed to read your body language? Somebody somewhere put this in her head. Man needs to be so sensitive. He merely has to reflect physically. And if he's in tune with the Spirit of God, these people need to swirly, stick their heads in the toilet, flush, and let the water swirl around their head. Goodness. You know what marriage is?
Oh.
Marriage is paying bills, cleaning rooms, flushing the toilet, putting the seat down, dealing with kids, try not to strangle them in their sleep. This is marriage. This is Christian marriage. That's what it is. And you got to deal with someone who irritates you, and then you still want to have sex with them. I mean, it's the craziest thing.
Yeah.
Right? It is hard. It's challenging. This is not heaven, by the way.
We got to do more shows, Mark. We're running out of time, and we're just getting started.
My previous wife died of cancer. I got married again, and I've had Christian women say, "Well, when you get to heaven, whose wife will you have?" You can't be this biblically illiterate. Biblical illiteracy.
Jesus said there won't be marriage in heaven.
He said there is no marriage in heaven. It's one of the reasons they call it heaven. There's no marriage. Look, it's great. I just signed up for round 2, but I ain't doing this for eternity. Why? Marriage is a combination of bliss and misery.
Well, you know what? I just think that we're all crazy. And if you find someone who's crazy matches you're crazy, it doesn't have to be hard. It can be easy, Mark Gungor, I am so honored to talk to you. We got to do more shows. You need more shows. Want to air your sermons too. Thank you so much, man. Go to markgungor.com right now. You've seen the bottom of your screen the entire time. And also go to laughyourway.com. We didn't even go into how the U.S. military, for a while now, for a long time, the number one resource for relationships was your material.
Still is.
So,
over a decade.
If it works on the battlefield, folks, it'll work in your home.
True that. Sometimes the home is a battlefield.
Love is a battlefield. What are you talking about? Mark, Pat Benatar, right? Well, Mark, you're a delight, brother. Can't wait to talk to you again, folks. Thanks for watching today on Word on the Street. We'll see you next time. And Mark, we'll see you soon.